Very insightful. Any questions? Can I use the privilege and ask you one more question?
Yeah, no, please.
There's a lot of emphasis on MSMEs.
Yes.
And you yourself cited one cluster of MSMEs that is thriving, that is using informal social structure, relational structure to be very competitive export-wise and also in terms of specialization.
Yeah.
Is that model self-limiting in the sense that manufacturing and distribution perhaps they can take care but not take us to the design and R&D? If you agree with this assessment, then how should we handhold guide those clusters where there is a lot at stake in terms of livelihood? So to make our growth process inclusive, we have to take them on board. We have to nurture them, develop them.
And again, Professor Ram Singh, your insights are quite amazing. So thank you for asking that question. This is a cluster that has evolved rather than created. And one of the questions that we ask ourselves when we have discussions with the government, that what is the role the government should take in such situations? We feel that governments rarely should create industrial capability directly. That is the role of institutions like yourselves, and that is the role of industry. What can be done is that we should have our government to create conditions where capabilities will emerge through infrastructure, through education, through the stable policy framework, and support for research and innovation. Here, I think government is playing a role and must play a greater role in supporting research and innovation. So a successful industrial ecosystem, let's say Tirupur, needs to now grow into what we are saying is upstream on the smile curve. It involves a partnership between markets, institutions like yours, and public policy. And I think the role of the government is not to pick winners. Sometimes we find government picking winners. That's not the role, but to enable ecosystems in which many firms can innovate and compete, especially MSME. So we need infrastructure and an environment where firms can quickly set up, quickly move. One area that our recommendation has been is our institutions of higher learning must get embedded in these ecosystems. Tirupur should have an institution of higher learning, not in an area where you can find it difficult to find even a professor to go to, but an area where there is already or a likelihood of an ecosystem. There could be a textile higher learning center, which research is there. MSMEs cannot afford it, but they can afford going to an institution which is supported by well, it could be government, it could be private enterprise, wherever. So I think the role of government is to enable ecosystems in which firms can innovate and they can compete. And that, I think, would we can actually grow Tirupur many times, many folds over.
Thank you, sir. This has been really fascinating experience. I can't thank you enough for accept.
I have a question, sir, if you allow. A quick one, sir.
Quick one. Okay. All right. Yes.
I missed the session, but I still have. Sir.
So good afternoon. This is Sanjay Agarwal. I'm sorry I'm late. So my question, when you're talking about, as it says, industrial, and you talked about Tirupur. So most of the corporates, like when you're talking about Startup India, so we don't have a vision. There is a job, a person looking for a job, and there's a company looking for that talent. So there's a mismatch. Somewhere there's a gap, sir. How do you plan to fill that, sir?
Well, I don't belong to policy. I'm absolutely now a person who speaks about it, but I have a view on that.
Sir.
And I also have a view on automation and jobs, which is a worry. I'll address it, Professor Ram Singh, because young people often ask me what happens when automation is taking place. And so we have jobs coming up. We have people and then, as Sanjay says, but we find that we don't have the precise talent. And that is where education and skill building comes up to nurture that talent, to provide for a changing, completely changing dynamic as far as requirements are concerned. So it is about an enabling atmosphere through education and training. And we have to therefore ensure that our institutions of learning are moving at a much faster pace than they have been in the past. Now, automation, and I'll address that as well, automation will change the nature of work that is there in factories. That's what you're saying, that nature of work is changing, but हमारे पास skilled youth नहीं है. Historically, technological progress has not eliminated work. I don't think any of you should be worried about it. But it's transformed work. And the question is, are we getting ready for that transformation? There are roles in design, there's roles in engineering, there are roles in supply chain, logistics, maintenance, services. So key challenge is not technology itself. It is whether education and training systems evolve fast enough to prepare our young people for the new kinds of work that are evolving. So Sanjay, thank you for your question. It is an opportunity more than anything else.
Sir, in the interest of gender balance, we must take one question from the girl there. Yes.
Yeah, and in the future, you shouldn't have to balance genders, you must lead.
That's right.
As much as
Absolutely.
possible.
Very inspired by the session. Myself, Jasina, I'm from Lady Shri Ram College, and you talked about pharma clusters and micro enterprises, but a micro enterprise that has to grow and has to set up has to go through so many bureaucratic hurdles like corruption and everything. Like from a personal experience, I know someone who is a he's a research and development expert, and he has to build a pharma company, right? So to build that, it is taking him 2 to 3 years to get a drug license only, like just a document, right? Because of so many bureaucratic hurdles and corruption that's involved in it, and not just his example, thousands of companies have to go through the same. So how is the government helping in solving these bureaucratic hurdles so that we can reach an industrial capability in the future?
No, you're right. One, I don't belong to the government, I have to keep clarifying that. But having been in industry and having worked with MSMEs, I have the highest regard for MSMEs because they somehow or the other have the staying power and the entrepreneurship to do what is right and to try and create actually jobs for others and build products. So first, the person you know, please give him or her my highest regards. I completely agree that our systems are not perfect, but you have to remember this is our country. What the government and the state are doing is increasingly using technology to try and move faster so it becomes more and more faceless. For those who've been around like us for 30 odd years, Kiranji for as much as well, Professor Ram Singh, who've evolved with industry, we've come a long way. Now you are not seeing that. And I'm glad you're raising this question because you mustn't see that. You must ask for a perfect enabling system which makes it easy to begin an industry and certainly devoid of anything wrong that you need to do. But our MSMEs have evolved despite that. We need that grit for some more time, and I'm sure as a society we will stand up and do the right thing. But without MSMEs, that is the industrial backbone. No large industry can function. So thank you for that question.
Let us conclude the session by giving a big round of applause for Dr. Sondhi. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's a true honor to have you.
Great pleasure. Thank you very much.